This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Are you trying to kill me? You are trying to kill me.
For Chou-Yun, the only way out of the Hong Kong underworld is to go back in. Jet Li in Rise to Honor, rated T for teen.
But yeah, Hardball is just so agreeable, like some of the other ones we talked about. It's just, but I mean, it made sense that at the time, I mean, I missed that where people would take a chance on an older property and make a video game adaptation of it, kind of like Jet Li's Rise to Honor.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
So there you go. Yeah, it's like my uncle used to play. Oh, what was the one? Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster.
I remember that one.
And that was just what was interesting. It's like the Stuntmaster kind of sold itself because that was when Jackie Chan was beginning his own fictional adventure show. And then it's like everyone knows what he is. Like I just see ads for him all the time. Jet Li was kind of following some of that, and American audiences and international audiences kind of know him more for some of the cheesy DMX movies he was doing, and Kiss of the Dragon, The One, and then it's like, but yeah, Rise to Honor, I was like, that was like the best of all worlds for me, but I dug it because it was literally a throwback to John Woo and Ringo Lam's kind of movies that you would think would have a Chou-Yun Fat or Tony Leung persona, but Jet Li is doing that, and I had never seen a more contradicting, like, Game Informer review. They hated it, and I was just like, tell me you just aren't good at the game without telling me. It's just like, oh, I can't understand the controls. I'm like, the game literally tells you in the first mission to, it's all about your speed, like, and the faster you are with it and the joystick, the faster you'll get Jet to fight back. And I loved it. I was just like, I am digging running away from all these helicopters. And I think it helped that I think I was at a Toys R Us back in the day, like 04, and I saw a demo of it that was playing there that you could try out. I was like, this is interesting. Maybe it was at a Walmart too when they did that, and I was just like, this is very intriguing, and I was so glad I played it. I just thought that this was so much fun. And I mean, the Matrix movies are total Hong Kong inspired, but like when you play the video games, like it is a wet dream. Like they are sneaking in even more, Hong Kong inspired gunmen and street fighting and car chases. And yeah, I mean, I kind of missed that. level of you could get a persona to carry a video game. It didn't matter if they were it's like you can. I think the only license they want to do now is it's got to be a comedian or it's got to be like a sports star. It was like, but how cool would it be if you could? I mean, there was even a Bruce Lee game they did for like Xbox where you were fighting through all of his levels, and they did it with the Rocky movies as well. They did video games of that, but like, how cool would it be if you could take a persona and make a video game and just, play in stuff clearly inspired by those movies without breaking too many licenses? I mean, I for instance, I would love to play an Arnold Schwarzenegger inspired video game based off his life. I mean, there's already a Star Trek computer game where you can pick any character and customize your spaceship and go to battle. I'm like, this can't be too hard, guys. Come on. Oh man, but yeah, no, Rice. I just thought it was so much fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going back to Chou-Yun Fat. He was just at that time, when I first discovered, like the John Woo films, he was just like this big, larger than life character that just seemed so, there was no way I would ever cross paths with this guy.
Yes.
And
right?
then
and
when the Replacement Killers came out,
yes,
and a friend of mine was going to be working the Chicago premiere of the Replacement Killers.
Oh, wow.
Asked me if I wanted to, just come see the movie. And there was a rumor that Chou-Yun Fat would be there.
Ooh.
So when I got there, they, my friend was working and he was talking with his managers and stuff, and they said, hey, if you're not doing it, if you don't mind, would you help us out? You can watch these seats and make sure nobody sits here, and when they're reserved seats, and when the people get here, just show them to their seats. Well, it was Chou-Yun Fat, his wife, Terrence Chang, the producer.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got to seat them, and I got to sit directly behind Chou-Yun Fat and watch the Replacement Killers.
Oh, that's so cool.
Chef's kiss.
And like during the movie, there's a scene in the Replacement Killers, where he's I think it was a garage shootout, and this car pulls out, and he slides under the car and he's shooting.
Well, no, in fact, John Woo did a lot of the second unit reshoots.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Right.
But I made like a noise, or I clapped when he had slid underneath that car. And he turned around and looked at me. He's just like, "You like that?" that made the whole trip completely worthwhile.
Worth it.
That's so cool.
Oh my god.
I'm jealous.
I knew you had met some of the different celebs, but that takes the cake. That's
the one that was still.
Have you ever interacted with Mike Fury at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he does a lot of other Action Fest kind of meetups and everything. He's told me his share of stories where he's like, yeah, I don't need to be doing anything else now. I've just met the best movie stars, and I'm at the movie that they happen to be. It's just, and people just don't seem to get it. I'm like, see, I'm telling you guys, this is better than any convention, any Q&A panel. When you are actually in the audience with the guy and basically acknowledging them, as you're seeing the thing, like it is, they might not realize it, but it is a great reward for them. But like, we alone, like we will always remember this, just like when your grandfather told you an amazing story only he could tell, it is that kind of sensation. But no, that's cool. At 98, you got to, man.
This is Mark Shaver. We're doing another quick episode for Jacked Up Review podcast. The idea was sent over for a quick episode about some Hong Kong inspired video games. Kind of video games pretty much inspired by, Hong Kong movies or with some kind of connection, right? The major people did some big video games in the U.S. Jackie Chan, of course, he had a game called Jackie Chan STUNTMASTER. Came out in 2000. Midway published or released the game or something. It was done by some company called Radical Entertainment. I believe they were out of Vancouver. They got Jackie to do the voice acting for the game, motion capture, everything. I think some of you folks may know who John Krang is. He's a stunt coordinator, author, comedian, and he said he worked on this video game as well. It's to some capacity. Well, I got this game. It was a game I always wanted to play. I remember seeing it in Hollywood Video back, around the time it came out. It was only on PlayStation 1. Kind of a bit harder to find. And a few years later, I got a PS2. And then I was like, because I never had the original PlayStation, but I got the PS2, and I was like, okay, now I got to get that game. I remember going to a Hollywood Video. They had it for sale or something, previously used copy for sale. Bought it, took it home, and I really enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun. It does have a slightly cartoonish aspect to it, but it's one of the better beat 'em ups out there, outside of like Final Fight, Streets of Rage. It has that nice. I mean, it's got 3D in it. It's like a mix between a beat 'em up and like a platformer. Great motion capture. I mean, for the time, the models look really good. I mean, Jackie Chan, the video game character model, looks great for being on PlayStation 1. Some good cutscenes. A lot of fun to play it. Like it's split up into. It's got the nice urban beat 'em up feel. I guess it's supposed to be New York City. The Twin Towers were on the cover and everything. You get 5 big levels, each with different stages. You got Chinatown. There was a sewer level. I think a waterfront, and definitely a factory or something, and a rooftop, I think, at the end. And you could even do like if you collected enough of the little dragon, there was like either red or gold dragon icons, you could go ahead and get a bonus level, which is Shaolin Temple. And I think, if I remember it correctly, and I still play the game from time to time, I still have it, so I pop it in here and there. I think you could get, and maybe only in that level, you could do like the Drunken Master style or something. I'd have to go back and check, but I mean, it's a fun game. A lot of props you can use as weapons, pick up all kinds of stuff. I think maybe pool sticks, paint rollers, and even in there's one restaurant in Chinatown, you can pick up like a big fish, pots and pans, and you can like flip the tables and stuff. Anybody who's a fan of Jackie Chan, I strongly recommend. I think you'll really love the game. Find it, PlayStation 1. Sometimes I see it used in different retro video game shops, disc traders, or wherever. Online, you can buy it on eBay. I think that the price is a little bit more expensive than the average game because it's maybe harder to find, but I think $80 sometimes. I mean, if I didn't have it, to me, it would be worth buying it for $80, but somebody else might not agree with that. But anyway, I highly recommend that game. It's definitely one of the most fun games out of any of these, Hong Kong cinema related video games. Next one we'll cover real quick, Rise to Honor with Jet Li. Sony produced it, I think. It was on the PS2. Jet Li, once again, did motion capture for the game. He did the voice acting only for the English dialogue in that game. He plays a Hong Kong cop. That game kind of switches between Hong Kong and San Francisco. The scenes in Hong Kong are, they tried to do an authentic job, having it in Cantonese. Jet Li was dubbed by somebody else in Cantonese. He's from China, speaks Mandarin. Only one film that you hear Jet Li speak Cantonese in, which is Hitman. Any other Cantonese language film with Jet Li, he was dubbed by somebody else. but he does all the English dialogue in Rise to Honor. I mean, this game, I was looking forward to this game so much. I bought it the day it came out that morning. Great, fantastic game. I mean, it had like a cool, unique. You used like the joysticks to control the fighting and stuff. It was like, you know, it played like a beat 'em up, but it had different levels. It had fighting levels. It had shooting levels, 3D shooting. You know, it's got the two-handed gunplay. I mean, really, when I was playing that game, I thought this is the perfect game that like delivers a Hong Kong movie style in a video game form. I mean, it's got. I think there was I know there was a couple like stealth levels. You got like your boss fights and all that. Weapons you can pick up. You can use the environment too. You can I think one of the kitchen levels you can burn people on the stove and this and that. Just again, a ton of fun, man. A ton of fun. There was supposed to be a sequel, I believe, for like the Sony PSP, the handheld one. I remember reading in a magazine about Rise to Honor 2. Unfortunately, it never got made. I don't know if they ever started work on it or not, but you know, it would have been fun to see a sequel to that game. There was even a whole level. One of the shooting levels was in a hospital, just like Hard Boiled, of course. Again, I mean, both Jackie Chan and Jet Li, you guys get an A+ for your video games, for sure. Fantastic. Both those games, highly recommended. There was even Corey Yun, the late Corey Yun, rest in peace. He did the choreography for Rise to Honor. You know, he'd been working on a lot of Jet Li's, not only Hong Kong films, he'd been doing the choreography for most of Jet Li's American films at the time, like Romeo Must Die. There was some kind of, there was a scene in Romeo Must Die where Jet Li used Aaliyah to fight against a female. It was Francois Yip, actually. He didn't want to hit a girl, so he had Aaliyah do the kicking and stuff. There was a similar moment I recall being in the game Rise to Honor, where you would like use somebody else and like spin them around and have them fight for you or something like that. Another interesting thing about the game, like I think if you beat the game, you can unlock a couple movie costumes. One was from, Once Upon a Time in China, the Wong Fei Hong look, and then they got the Chen Zhen costume from Fist of Legend as well. So, some nice kind of Jet Li love shown in that game. Let's move on now. Another big one, of course, was Stranglehold, 2007. That came out on PS3, Xbox 360. John Woo presents Stranglehold. Midway Games did that game also. And then I think John Woo briefly was involved with some video game company. I think it was called Tiger Hill or something like that. Chou-Yun Fat, of course. Actually, the game is literally a sequel to Hard Boiled. The classic, the last film that Chou-Yun Fat starred in for director John Woo. Pretty much, I would say it's definitely one of John Woo's most popular, beloved films. And they finally did a sequel in video game form, Stranglehold. Chou-Yun Fat reprises his role as Tequila. He did the voice acting and everything. This is a very solid game. I do like it. It's not, I can't give it a full A+. I feel like if this game had come out before some similar games like Max Payne and Dead to Rights, a couple earlier games had been inspired by Hong Kong cinema, especially John Woo's films, right? I mean, if you go back and play Max Payne, as far as I'm aware, that was the first game to really do this style of like the slow motion dives with the bullet time and all that. I mean, they clearly reference John Woo's films. Like, there's like I think the difficult level in Max Payne was called Hard Boiled. There's a line in the game where Max Payne said, like, he made like Chou-Yun Fat. You know, so you know that those movies inspired those games. Dead to Rights. I mean, on the back of the case, it mentions Hong Kong style action or something like that. So, you know, I gotta say, you know, I think both Max Payne and Dead to Rights were a little bit better. You know, the novelty had kind of worn off by the time Stranglehold came out, of doing this, like, the slow motion dives and all that, but it's still a really solid game. It's still a lot of fun. You know, it's a nice arcade style, constant action. Hey, certainly for John Woo fans, it's still something you're gonna want to pick up. There's a lot of great stuff in it. I feel like the game could have been better if it just had a little bit more to it. There is a few really cool, like, they're called like tequila bombs or something. It's like you can upgrade like moves. One of them is like a precision shot. Get the nice slow motion bullet flying out of the gun, where you pinpoint your target in different parts of the body, whatever. You've got like one of them is like I think like super fast rate of fire or something, and then, you know, probably the best one is the final one, where it's like they do like a spin and fire their weapon. You know, Chou-Yun Fat, of course, tequila spins around firing, you know, his weapons. You clear out all the enemies on screen, I think, doing that move. You also get the doves flying by. The music in that game was good. It had a nice little like theme to it. I should have mentioned that Jackie Chan Stuntmaster had some pretty good music too. Rise to Honor, I don't really recall the music in it, but couldn't have been bad or anything. But yeah, Stranglehold has a nice little like theme tune. Part of it's in Chicago, goes like from Hong Kong to Chicago and then back again. John Woo himself, another little callback to Hard Boiled, where he played the bartender in Hard Boiled, friend of Tequila. There's a little bonus area in the game or something like on the main menu where you can unlock different stuff, and you go and then it's like you're at the bar. John Woo, there's like a model character of John Woo, you know, tending the bar, and he'll like talk to you and stuff. John Woo did the voice. It would have been interesting to see if John Woo had made more video games. I think this was a solid debut. It does have a lot of cool things in it. You know, it's just like if it would just had a little bit more special things about it. You know, it could have been like an A+, but I would still say, I mean, bare minimum, I would give it a B+, possibly A-, somewhere in there. I mean, it's still a really good game. It's just not like you know. Overall, I would prefer Stuntmaster and Rise to Honor, but Stranglehold, you know, coming in third place is not that bad. Now, there were some other games as well. Those are like the three main ones that stick out in my mind just because of like the people who worked on them, you know, being front and center with involvement in the game. Big names, you know, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, John Woo, Chou-Yun Fat, Corey Yun, as I mentioned. There was a one Matrix game where Yun Ping worked on the choreography. I'm trying to recall the name of it. It was on PlayStation 2. Enter the Matrix, maybe, or something. It was a 3D shooter, a third-person shooter. I mean, it was actually quite fun. I had it for a little while, and then like traded it in or something. Another game Well, first of all, I mean, I think one of the very first games to be out there was a Jackie Chan video game of sorts back in I think it came out in the 80s, mid to late 80s, maybe early 90s. I don't remember. I think it was for the NES. I don't even remember what the exact title was. I never played it, but I should at least mention that there was another Jackie Chan video game back in the day. A few Bruce Lee video games, actually. None that he was directly involved with, obviously, but first one that I can think of was Dragon: The Bruce Lee Story for Super Nintendo, which it's kind of a fun little game. It's kind of it's kind of a one-on-one fighting game, but it's a little bit different. So yeah, Dragon: The Bruce Lee Story. It's just a fun little game. It had some good music in it as well. You got the first fight was at the Lantern Festival, the film. There was Enter the Dragon set fight, Big Boss, the Ice Factory set fight from the film. Those are all in the game. So, it's definitely, you can usually find it fairly cheap. Super Nintendo. Sometimes it's weird, though, if you play, 2-player. After you defeat the opponent, then you have to fight each other. So that was kind of a weird setup there. But overall, that's a solid little game. There was a game, I was looking forward to this game so much, Bruce Lee Quest of the Dragon for Xbox, right? Unfortunately, the game was just not very good at all. Even when I bought this from the guy at GameStop, I remember he warned me, are you sure you want to buy this game? I said, yes, I'm sure. But, it was cheap, $8-10 something, but just wasn't a good game. What is a good game, though, is Bruce Lee Return of the Legend. That one's for Game Boy Advance. That's a kind of a fun little side-scroller action. It's got beat 'em up elements, platformer elements. I never finished that one, but I do have it, so I have to pop it in again. There was also a Jackie Chan Adventures game on the Game Boy Advance, which I played a little bit of it. It was actually kind of fun. It played like a kind of a side-scrolling beat 'em up as well. So I think I only played the first level, like Chinatown or something, and then there was some other games. There was one for PS2, I believe, Jackie Chan Adventures. I never played that one, so I can't comment on that one. Of course, Sleeping Dogs. A lot of people love that game. It had, it was set in Hong Kong. They did a pretty good job there. I think it was originally going to be a true crime game in that series. True Crime Hong Kong was the original rumor I remember, where they said Sammo Hung would be involved in the game, but I think they sold the rights. It ended up becoming Sleeping Dogs. They got Edison Chen doing a voice for one of the characters. Robin Shu, actually. I never got too far in that game, so I do remember Edison Chen's character. Robin Shu is on the voice list. I never got to that point where you see his character or anything, but I still have the game, so one of these days I'll try to finish it up. But it's a fun game, it's kind of like True Crime Streets of LA, which I should mention that game, True Crime Streets of LA. I was hyped for that game. Russell Wong, he played the main character Nick in that game. It didn't quite live up to the hype, people were saying it would be better than Grand Theft Auto and this and that, which, it wasn't. That was another game too that had some of those slow motion dives and stuff. But, overall it's a decent game. It had, there was something in that game, I can't remember, it was Snoop Dogg was involved somehow, where you had to get like collect these like dog bones around LA, and then I'm not sure if you could unlock Snoop Dogg as like a character or what the deal was, but they had some pretty cool music selection in that game. They had some old school tracks from like the DOC, Bone Thugs and Harmony. They had a soundtrack for the game. I remember Bizzy Bone had a track on there. Several others. I think Trey D from the East Side is, and some certain other West Coast artists. I know Bone Thugs and Harmony is not West Coast, but they have those people always. I don't consider them West Coast because they're not. They're from Cleveland, Ohio. But a lot of times, like even in Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe there was, I think there was a Bone Thugs and Harmony track on West Coast Classes. I know there was a Ghetto Boys song on that, and they're from freaking Houston, Texas. But regardless, I mean, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ghetto Boys, two of the all-time greatest rap groups. And it's not West Coast rap, but chances are, if you like West Coast rap in the 90s and stuff, you're going to enjoy those tracks. So lots of games to check out there. I mean, to me, I always think of the big three as like Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, Rise to Honor, and Stranglehold. But there's a lot of other little games out there that have that Hong Kong cinema connection, you know. I'm sure there's other ones that I forgot to mention or overlooked, or maybe there's probably even some I never heard of. But regardless, there's some great games out there if you're a Hong Kong cinema fan and you play video games. One more thing I want to mention. I have to mention this, and then we'll wrap it up. Sleeping Dogs. There was a number of like costumes you could unlock for the main character, and a lot of them came from classic Hong Kong films, right? You had Jackie Chan's, one of his main looks from Rumble in the Bronx. You had Andy Lau's like red leather like suit and everything from Full Time Killer. Donnie Yen's look from Ip Man. I know it's not Hong Kong cinema, but they even threw Tony Jaa's costume in there from Ong Bak. Bruce Lee, you know, Game of Death, the yellow and black tracksuit. We're still waiting on that one to come out for Mortal Kombat 1. That was data mined along, you know, several months ago for like a Liu Kang costume in Mortal Kombat 1, the most recent MK game. They still haven't put it out there, so I guess it's still coming. Thanks a lot. Jacked Up Review Show, another episode. Check these games out if you've never played them or never heard of them. All right? Have a good one. Bye-bye.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up